You know, right from the start, I felt that video games were going to be very big. I don't think I ever put numbers to it to say, hey, it's going to be bigger than the movie industry. I don't think I ever thought that. But I felt that people have been playing games since they were living in caves. And games always morphed to match the technology available, whether it was printing presses or plastic or you know, there's a whole area of cast iron games, believe it or not. And I felt that the computer was the ideal game play, because not only could the computer be the presenter, but could be the scorekeeper and the timer and the opponent. And so so I felt that it was going to tap into some kind of power, and that it was going to get really, really big.
We have a lot to thank you for then.
Yeah, we have a lot to thank you.
You know what the amazing thing is, if you think about it too, a lot of times the video game industry gets compared to film and this and that. And you know, and we all as gamers here, we all think, you know, geez, you know, when are we going to be taken legitimately and this and that? And it's happening, and things like Video Games Live and other things are making it happen. But if you think about it too, you know, when film first came out in the 19-teens, right, in the 20s, when the older people first saw film, and they were black and white, and there was no sound, and there was no real acting or storyline or anything like that, they were just these flicky pictures. And all the older generation went, what the hell is this garbage? You know, vaudeville's where it's at. You know, this is just weird technology and it's crazy. It wasn't until 30, 40 years later when things like, you know, then the film industry got sound, then it got color, then it got real acting and real storylines, and it wasn't until things like The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind in the, you know, the 50s and the 40s and 50s. So it took 20, 30 years to, and then the generation who then grew up on film, then, you know, it was a part of their culture growing up. Now, compare that to the video game industry. In 1972, when Nolan released Pong, it was black and white. It didn't have barely any sound. There was no acting or storyline or this and that. And the older generation went, what the hell is this garbage? You know, pinball's where it's at. And then we got sound, and then we got color, and then we got 3D, and then we got motion capture, and now we have storylines you'll see in games like Halo and Warcraft and Metal Gear Solid. Now we got storytelling involved and this and that. Now look at the timeline. 1972, 2012, right? 40 years later, exactly where the film industry was when they really started to go, where the Gone with the Winds came in, and the Wizard of Oz, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're right in that sweet spot. Now the fun really begins.
Yeah. I got to add, for a long time, people said, why are kids wasting their time when they could be reading a good book or something like that? Well, it turns out that playing video games actually increases your IQ. And in the last 20 years, IQ of the people who are game players have increased as much as 15 points. And in certain tests of cognitive abilities, of problem solving, things like that, you know, off the charts better. So not only are video games fun, but they're good for you.
I can actually get real specific on that. There are a whole group of special needs kids that at Blizzard we've become aware of that have just dramatically improved their lives by playing World of Warcraft, because there's two things going on. One, it's a control system that whatever their challenges are, they can find a way to control the game. And then two, once they're in the game, they're equal with everyone else.
Yeah.
No one else in the game has
Yeah.
any idea, and so a very shy person who's facing all these challenges suddenly finds themselves a guild leader or something like that. And a lot of people have come up to us in you know, either at Video Games Live shows or at our BlizzCons and just said, to the point of moms and dads throwing their arms around me and hugging me, and on behalf of the whole company, and just saying, thank you. My child has developed better motor skills, more confidence. They're not as shy in public. They're no longer fixated on whatever their challenge is, to the extent that they were, because video games, I mean, who knew? But this is wonderful.
It just happened, just like snowball effect. That's why it's really interesting how it just happened to place.
So we celebrate all that and more Friday night.
We're looking forward. We're looking forward. It's going to be awesome.
Rock on.